Guys, what is going on? This is kind of weird. Again, we're recording like an afternoon session for me. It's an evening session for you, Jeff, there in the East Coast, which is,
whatever. Yeah, it's 6:30 right now. So yeah.
Wow.
Woo.
My biorhythms are a little messed up with the recording thing.
I'm still trying to get my sleep. I'm getting closer to the sleep thing. That's starting to come online, but it's still throwing me off a bit here.
Kind of wake up at 2:15 and go, it's 2:15.
It's 2:15. Crap.
Darn it. So guys, welcome another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me and Jeff again today. I am Brent Abel. That guy over there is Jeff Jacklich. I'm in California desert. Jeff is Pontiac, Michigan. The Wesson Lawn
Pontiac,
Tennis Club.
Michigan.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Around.
Yeah, baby.
Come on, four on the
Pontiac,
floor.
Pontiac GTO, baby.
Oh yeah. All right.
As a sweet ride.
So
yeah, it was good actually. Today was a little overcast. Actually, the clouds are just starting to break out now. It's 6:30 in the late afternoon, early evening. Got some sun coming out. We were setting up getting the net posts out, putting up the back screens, all the curtains up. So we're just again prepping.
It's coming.
Prepping and getting her ready. Guys
Nice.
out there working on the grass, nurturing, talking to it, massaging it,
Yes.
and getting.
That's fun. Well, good for you. Well, and like 90 plus here today in the desert, not a wisp of wind. It's like that dead kind of heat where it's just like, oh God, oh man, kind of hot out here. So I had my buddy Ronnie scheduled for noon today, and he's got the basket, and he's just underhanding feeding. Right, he's right. I'm on the. He's going over here. Oh, back over there. Okay, and and we probably went for an hour 10, hour and 15 minutes today, just drenched, just soaking wet. But and before we decided to record this afternoon, when I sent you the text and said, hey, how about tomorrow morning? Because I was going to go out and just hit a few serves, kind of go with the thing. I've had a good lunch. No one's around. No one else is doing this crazy stuff in this kind of heat except for little Brent Abel. And then you said, oh, no, well, I think we could do one right now. And I just went,
right now.
Let's do one right now.
Yeah, that was a close call.
I think I'll still go out there anyway because it's just one of those things you just can't pass it up. So it's got a little Florida look to it today. The big puffy clouds.
Puffies.
Yeah, it's got the humidity going on.
It's a little humid going, a little humidity going on. Yeah.
Thing of beauty, man. Thing of beauty.
There you go.
So, guys, what do we got for you today? We got an interesting topic that came off a comment left over at YouTube, which I will tee up in just a second. But before we get into that, Jeff and I are still offering a free private coaching call. It is 10 minutes in length. That might not sound like it's very long to get anything done, but you'd be surprised if you bring that one thing in your game right now that is just kind of holding you back, and you've been working and going crazy, and maybe hopefully you're not beating the dog every night when you come home and that kind of stuff.
Don't blame him.
Don't blame the puppy.
The dog.
Dog's your best friend. So if you're struggling with something, let's get on that coaching call. Again, it's free. It is private. 3 of us get onto a conference phone call and just describe for us what's going on. And Jeff and I promise to put you on the path to help you get the result that you really want. The way to do that, go over to goldballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address, click the button, and you'll get immediate access to our online calendar scheduler.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, listen, one of the things that you at the end of all of our podcast episodes ask people to do, it's kind of a 4-part little thing you ask, but one of them is please leave a comment, because we do respond to comments. And Pete Thompson, one of our students, actually left a comment today, or maybe it was yesterday or something like that you picked up on. And so, Pete, we want to respond to your comment. Jeff, I'll let you kind of tee it up.
Well, it was a specific comment about, can we chat a little bit more about doubles, how to find a partner, positioning, teamwork, plays to run, all that. So So if we try to tackle all of that, this is going to be a 20-hour podcast with on-court demonstration and yeah. So we're not going to go there. But,
thank God. What are we going to do?
But I thought positioning can be a really interesting topic, because I think it can have some, if depending on your mindset, if you are stuck in the tennis doubles is played this way box theory, you're probably missing a lot of opportunities to win matches if you don't understand your partner's skill set, if you don't understand your own skill set, and then how that affects positioning on the court and when to deploy very specific positioning based on that skill set.
That's good. That's good. Well, let's take, for example, a good friend of ours and one of your coaching students, Erica Smith.
Yeah.
We'll just throw the name out there.
Just throw it out there.
20 plus gold balls. I know she's won a single. She won a single grass one year, but she is a doubles player extraordinaire. And if you were to try and coach her and say, well, standard doubles, old school, says, well, Erica, you got to serve and volley. No, you got to chip and charge.
Right.
She would be taken out of her element. It would be taking away from her skill set. And I don't think she would have won as many gold balls as she has.
So, no, without a doubt.
So describe, Jeff, sort of what her skill set is and why, especially when you guys play mixed, how it's not like it might be with like if you and I are playing, you and I are crashing the boards, we're serving a volley, and we're doing all that. I'm doing it because I can't do what she does from back there.
Right.
So I need to get off of back there and do something different. And just because that's old school doesn't mean that that's why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because that's my skill set.
Right.
I'm way better at transitioning. I'm way better at my hands up at net and that kind of stuff. So describe Erica and why that, like why my style, and believe me, I used to make this mistake of coaching when I was at clubs. Well, you got to play doubles the way I play.
Right.
Here's
the theory. Let's just map it out. It's on. I've got the map of the tennis court. Here's all the lines, the X's and O's. You got to stand here. You got to move over here. You got to do this. You got to do that. And again, theory's great if you can plug in all the skill sets required to make that theory work. And there are a lot of great doubles teams that do. There's a lot of great doubles teams that don't. And they play a different style of doubles.
That's right.
So with Erica, she has a full game. Let's not mince words here. Erica can do it all. Groundies, volleys, mid-court, overhead. She has a full game. Obviously, you don't win 20-plus gold balls without, and specifically a lot of, most in doubles. And then I think a couple of world titles. I think a women's mixed or a women's doubles world title and a mixed double title as well. So you don't do that by not having, a full skill set. However, if you examine the skill set, obviously there's a couple things that she is really, number one being her forehand. It's a world-class forehand that she can murderize. So,
and I don't know if that's a word, but whatever it is, and it's audible. It's loud. It's however she was taught it and however she sort of developed it. It's when she hits it, it's loud. It's not a heavy, spinny.
No. It like, gets crushed.
I've seen grown men actually when she starts to tee it up, where they go, "Mommy."
Exactly. It's like I really don't want to be standing here, right? No. Well, I think she was the. I think Jack Shaw was her coach, and so we got to give him credit where credit is due. But Erica can her number one asset. Forehand, and this isn't a mystery. I'm not giving away any secrets here. So what you're saying is if you're gonna utilize her skill set, Right.
she's going to be in a different position on the court as opposed to someone else.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean that we don't want, when we play together, we don't want her coming to the net and utilizing her volley. She has great directional control on the volleys.
Yep.
Spectacular directional control. So do we want her there? Absolutely. But sometimes, there's, again, as fast as I used to be at age 20 and 24, and as fast as I still am, even in either bracket, there's always somebody faster. You're the fastest gun on the block for so long, and then somebody comes along and they're a little bit faster. So when that happens, you've got to make some adjustments. So sometimes in our matches, maybe the return's coming back a little bit faster for her to be able to be effective in that transition, coming in first volley, where is she on the court, right? And on a return, right? It's like, I know you can dump the return and shove, and make the little adjustment in, but is that as effective as Erica? I need you to pull the trigger on the howitzer and give me a couple of those in a row and get me involved. And then I'm going to step in and hopefully have something to work with.
Well, that's,
and so,
I mean, you just gave away the answer to life. One of the answers to life right there, Jeff, is when you're saying, Erica, I want you to stand back in that situation, and I want you to unload the howitzer to get me involved. So
right.
Unloading the howitzer.
She's not trying to end the point. She's not trying to end the point.
No. And that's where a lot of players get messed up, is they think that
right.
that if I stay back, or if someone stays back, then their job from back there is to they better have a big forehand, or they better have a big backhand. And because I don't want them setting me up, because I don't want to have to do something. And right. So it's kind of like, well, then stop making excuses. Well, she's not, or he or she is not coming in, so we can't play traditional doubles.
Baloney.
Sorry, dude. Get real comfortable with the partner who wants to stay back. And they don't have to have a howitzer. If you can get the ball down, if your partner can get the ball down to the feet, and you show a little shake and bake in there, come on. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. So, I've seen you guys play where it's just hysterical, because she'll sit back there and you'll take a little turn, a little glance back there, and you can see this thing getting loaded up. And I can see you just going, oh boy, this is gonna, I hope I don't hurt anybody. I mean, it'll be unintentional.
Yeah, I look over my shoulder. Yeah, there it comes, and I start inching my way forward. I'm just gonna assume she's gonna hit a good strong forehand. Yeah. Well, let's talk, I'm just gonna make that.
And let's talk about core positioning. So let's say that she's returning serve. And on the first serve, maybe you start at the service line, at your service line, just as a way to kind of protect in case it's a big serve and she can't handle it. But if the server over there has an average second serve, if I'm playing with Erica and I know she's getting a backhand, I don't even start in the service line. I know she can handle it. And if the guy over there across diagonally from me wants to poach, all right, you're on your own, man. You're on your own.
Wear a helmet and a cuff.
You might want to be doing that. But court position-wise, I'm going to assume that she can handle that second serve. Or my partner who's got a big forehand can handle the second serve. I don't need to be starting on the service line.
No.
I mean, when my partner's serving, am I starting on the service line? No.
Nope.
No, because I know that there's no chance someone can poach right off the serve.
Right.
So I'm going to start up at the net. Well, the same thing in the second serve returning. I just think either you or Eric or whatever is going to handle it. I'm going to get myself already in good position. Obviously, I don't want to crowd too close to the center service line, because I want to make sure that if you're my partner, I'm not sort of interfering with the entire court.
Yeah, you don't want to take away the angle.
Right.
Especially if they get that right serve and you're squeezing the center a little too much. Sometimes, John Sutter on the other side, because, when I play with Erica, I play the ad side. When I play with John, I play the deuce side. And sometimes I can get a little, greedy, squeezing the center of the court on the return. And he has to remind me sometimes, Jackie, give me a little more room off the center of the court. I don't need you there right now. I need you there after I hit the return.
Right, that's right.
Right, and so I'm trying to intimidate and show something to the server a little bit, but I'm actually John needs to see the clarity of the court. And so sometimes he has to remind me to like give a little ground there and then make your move and see what happens. The other thing too, with Erica, sometimes it's like, no, take it straight to the net person. If we've talked about, that they're not quite as strong, listen, I'll tell her, listen, I am not worried about that net person burying me with the volley. I'm looking at the quality of their ball, the quality of their volley. Technically, I'm looking at it going, listen, Erica, go ahead and unload. And I'm already going to squeeze the center because I know she's not going cross court.
Right. That's right.
And so I'm going to stand there. They're going to try and work it back to her. Just as a funny side note, I think down in the desert, we were playing, it might've been the finals. We did this play. I squeezed the center. The volleyer gets a hold of it and got it a little bit more court centric. However, Erica still got around and hit a forehand, and she actually went behind me and hit a winner.
She went over the top of you or behind you?
Over my left shoulder into the alley. It was just a thing of beauty.
Wow, cool.
But anyway, it's just, so I think the main point here, and Pete, this is for you, the main point is you can come up with like what should be strategies all day long, but they don't mean a thing if you can't match that strategy with a skill set. And so Pete and everybody else that's out there listening, you got to look at your partner and understand, what are their three strongest weapons? Don't get all crazy about everything that they do. You got to narrow it down as to what are the three basics and what are their best three, and then start to work with that so you can deploy a different look, a different change at just the right moment. You might play classic straight up for the whole front end of a set. And then, hey, it's 4-all, they're serving. I need you to stay back here and wail on some forehands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And then all of a sudden we get the break and we're serving for the set, right? So,
well, I think a lot of, and I was in the group of teaching pros before I thankfully retired for the tennis community from teaching, was I was restricting a lot of players who actually had my style of play, but they would get partnered with someone who didn't feel comfortable with the same style. And what would happen is then there would be that, well, how can I play with this player if they don't want to come up to net and join me? And the reality is that you can win a lot of frickin' doubles matches, men's, women's, and doubles, with one up and one back. And it's not that your partner's going to get a short ball, hit it, and then retreat. It's probably not going to happen. But what's the problem if you got a partner who doesn't have a great serve? Why force them to come in and have to dig really tough half volleys?
Right.
Why not say, why don't you come in 2 feet inside the baseline? Because I don't think that even with an average serve, that return is going to consistently paste it back 2 feet from the baseline. Let's talk about reality. They're not going to. Once in a while they might. You could actually hit a volley from back there, I'm just saying. But why not serve, come in a couple of feet, and if you get a groundie, unload on it, right? If you love it, and set up your partner. If you get a short ball, come on in early, unload on it. So what if you end up at net? It doesn't matter. But I don't want any, and I hear this with the guys too often, how can I play with this guy who's not comfortable at the net? And I said, well, what do they do well? Well, they got good ground strokes and they lob pretty well. Oh, they lob pretty well, which means that you're going to now be the lob's probably coming back. I guess you're going to look like a hero here. Wow, okay. They got good groundies. Oh, they'll be hitting balls down at the incoming server's feet, popping it up for you. Oh, I guess you'll be looking pretty good.
Yeah, so it's really, so anybody there, it's you really got to make the adjustment about be a solution-based player, not a boxed-in player. You got to be a solution-based player, looking, and the solution is not just, oh, what does my opponent do well and what don't they do well? It's how do I match that with our skill set over here collectively and individually. How do we come up with something that inflicts some pain so we can get the job done today?
Right.
It may not be you're not going to play that way in every match, because your opponents are different. So, but it is that day. What's the solution that day? And if you're not willing to walk into that neighborhood and snoop around a little bit, you're going to have a hard time getting over the hump and really, getting to that next level of play, because that next level of play requires that you got to get comfortable in a whole bunch of uncomfortable different situations.
Well, look, I mean, there are times when, and you know how it works. I mean, you and I return a serve. We like to, bang it and get in. We like to chip it and get in. We like to be up at. I want to be at the net when the point's over. But reality is that I could be returning serve against a guy who's bombing it. How am I going to get in behind that? I can't. Right. So I might have to just somehow shove it cross court, let him volley back to me, and I'm still stuck in the baseline. All right. Now I go into that kind of player where my job is either I'm going to try to just get it down to that guy's feet in front of you, or maybe I'm going to lob. I don't care. Why can't I lob and play that as an approach shot? I can.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not ideally what I want, right? And that's, theoretically we chip and charge. Theoretically we drive it and come in. Right. Well, sorry. Theoretically that guy or that gal might have a big serve, and theoretically you can't get in behind it.
I admit it freely. I'm 59. I don't run quite as fast as I did when I was 24. I mean, at age 24, Brenny, no lie, you know it, you were there. I could return the guy's first serve and beat the guy to the net. I mean, I spent that much time with Shermy on the return.
Right.
Felt that comfortable and confident to pick it up quick and let's go.
Right.
But guess what? If I unload on the return right now, I'm still on the starting block.
You're still
it's good.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. I just have to make that adjustment to know I can take another 2 steps in, but now I'm standing somewhere between the service line and the baseline. And, I don't see that as a bonus in that situation. I'll tell you
this, right? And this is for another episode, but I do think that we all need to learn how to play, not stand there for the entire point, but you need to get comfortable in that spot that you just described, halfway between the baseline and the service line. You might get stuck there for a couple of shots. Right. All right? And that's okay. That may not be theory. Well, it's no man's land. I can't go there. Well, how are you going to go from the baseline up inside the service line? What are you going to? You got to jump over no man's land?
Right. We're gonna time travel and get to the. But that's just it. I think, no man's land is, that whole phraseology and all that, don't want to be there. Well, listen, you're going to have to be there because you're going to have to hit a lot of transition balls.
That's right.
And guess what? That's where transition balls are hit from.
That's right.
That's where they're hit from. So you better get good at it and get comfortable with it.
Yeah,
and
but
sometimes...
Jeff, that's not theory, man. That's not theoretical. Come on.
Oh, man.
Can't you get serving and just dive for the first volley so you can say, well, I served and volleyed?
Volleyed, right.
Okay, well, all right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah, this has sort of just gone off into who knows where it's
off
going.
The rails. Off the rails.
All right, so a couple things. A couple things. Can I think of one thing? Yes, one thing. Reminder.
Just like the phone call. Just one thing.
Free but private coaching call. And I promise we won't be so stupid as we have in the last couple of minutes here. We'll actually make it worth your time. And even if we don't make it worth your time, if we don't give you the answer to life, it'll still be a fun 10 minutes for you. Anyway, so
good thing it's free.
That's right, and short. So the way to get in the call, and again, it's free, it's private, but you got to bring that one thing in your game that maybe it's no man's land. Maybe you need to figure out, how do you feel comfortable in no man's land. I think Jeff and I have got the answer for that. How to help you do that.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, go over to goalballhunting.com, put in the first name, email address, click the button. You'll get access to our online calendar scheduler where you get to cherry pick the date and time that works best for you. Not me, not Jeff, but you. And that's kind of awkward now because we're in different time zones. So it was pretty easy before when we were both in the Pacific, but now with you on the East
Yeah.
Coast, it's going to be interesting.
Everything's a little bit of a challenge right now. So,
Yes, that's right. And I can't wait until you start teaching 8 hours a day too. Wow, that should be. And then you've got you've got tennis parties at night starting at 6, and so
Yeah.
Anyway,
We'll figure it out. Well, maybe we'll just do that live from a tennis party.
That'd be good. That'd be fine.
Hey,
we could
might be
do
kind
that.
of fun.
Jeffrey, what would we like to find folks to do right now?
We'd love to have you like us, share us, please subscribe, and just like Pete Thompson did, let us know what you think, or let us know what you'd like to hear.
Yeah, question, comment, whatever. We do like to respond to comments and questions. So, guys, get out there today. Just do it. I'm going to go do it. I've been procrastinating. That's why I've been blah, blah, blah this whole thing, because I'm waiting for it to get below 90, but it's not going to happen.
Ain't going to happen.
Get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. We're going to do this again tomorrow.
I am really looking forward to it. I can't wait.